What up, folks? Hero Stormwolf here, and this is just a breakdown for the new DmC Devil May Cry Definitive Edition. This is the reboot of Devil May Cry that I believe that came out in 2013 or 2012. If you know me a little bit, you know I didn't really like the reboot much for a couple of reasons, but watching this trailer, it actually kind of, I think, fixes a few issues that I had with the game. One of them is actually coming up now. So, the original game was not 60 frames per second, unless you played it on PC. So, the addition of 60 FPS on a console is actually really important, because the fluid of gameplay for Devil May Cry depends on it being 60 frames per second. It felt really awkward at 30, it felt really slow, because I played it both for the PS3 and then I played it again on PC, and the PC version running at 60 frames per second felt a lot better. Moves came out a lot quicker. It was a lot more responsive. So yeah, this is actually a pretty big positive on this front. Alright, so moving on from there. Combat definitely does a little bit faster. 1080p, not really important for me. It's more about frames per second. Okay, so here's something that does actually pique my interest. Retuned and rebalanced. Now, I imagine that they're going to rework, hopefully, that you don't need red weapons to fight red enemies, blue weapons to fight blue enemies, and that the whole pacing of combat's a lot faster and a lot more fluid. Because, and this is going to tie into something else earlier in the trailer, it would be kind of hard to flow attacks against different enemies because the way the game just kind of autopilots you towards a certain enemy. So you really couldn't, like, maneuver between one enemy and another. So I hope that's reworked, as well as button pressing. I hope it's a lot more fluid. It doesn't feel a lot stiff. So should be interesting to see what they mean by retuned and rebalanced combat. Also note that he is wearing the DmC 1 outfit, which actually looks pretty cool. Not gonna lie, as you can see here, it's Dante's Devil May Cry 1 outfit with the same hairstyle. Game modes: Gods Must Die, probably a harder difficulty setting. Hardcore mode, same thing. Must Style mode, I'm going to actually touch on that. Now, if I was a betting man, I would assume that Must Style mode means that you have to kill the enemies within a certain style meter. Meaning that certain enemies can only be killed once you get your style meter to C, certain enemies can only be killed once you get your style meter to an A, up to an S, double S, triple S, etc, etc. That could actually be interesting and will force players to actually use all the tools at their disposal to actually kill enemies. So, Must Style mode could be interesting. I think that'd be a lot of fun for those who like to be very creative. So, that's actually pretty interesting, and I'll have to definitely check that out. Turbo mode. This is actually pretty interesting too, because someone modded the PC version and actually called it turbo mode, and what happens is it actually sped up the game by 30%. So it matched the original speed of Devil May Cry 3, which I believe is still the fastest Devil May Cry to date. So I don't know if this is just a coincidence or if Capcom saw what the modders were doing and just kind of copied it. Either way, console owners should be happy about that, because that turbo mode actually helped Devil May Cry feel like Devil May Cry, if you get what I mean. So that's actually a pretty good addition too. Now this is something that should have been in the game day one. There's no reason to have two dodge buttons. I don't get that. So I'm just going to pretty much say that one of the dodge buttons has been removed, and now actually is the manual lock-on, and you can use the right stick to move the lock-on to a different target. This will actually help more than you know about Devil May Cry. It was one of my biggest complaints about the game, because again, whenever you attacked, it would just kind of auto-gravitate to one of the nearest enemies, and flying enemies would be a pain in the ass. So, thank you for adding the manual lock-on. It seems like they actually took a lot of feedback from the fans and from players who actually played the game. So, thank you for manual lock-on. You have no idea how much this actually helps the game. Like, even watching the combat now, you can definitely see how this improves the game. Just looking at that. Virgil's Bloody Palace, there's not really no reason for me to stop that there. If you play Bloody Palace, you know that now you can actually play it as Virgil instead of Dante. All the DLC, so you get I forget the name, I get the official name of the DLC for Virgil, but you get that as well bundled in. So March 17th, I believe that's the same day that another Capcom game comes out, but I can't remember what it is. And this is a whole separate video entirely, I believe, because this is a lot of speculation, and here it is.
I need more power.
So I actually had to rewind this part a couple of times to make sure that I wasn't seeing things. So Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, and as you can see, probably going to have playable Virgil, or Virgil as a playable character. Now, I hope they don't do the same thing they did with the Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition, for those who remember that, where they actually added one cutscene of Virgil and you can play as him through the entire game from Virgil's storyline, but it would pretty much take out all the cutscenes. I hope what they do is they add a whole new story arc for Virgil, either before he fights Mundus, or if after he fights Mundus and after Devil May Cry 1. I don't know exactly what they plan on doing with Virgil. I just hope they just don't kind of shoehorn him in as a playable character. I would actually like a separate story for him. That would actually be very, very, very cool. It would actually break up the whole problem with Devil May Cry 4 from Nero to Dante, pretty much going through the same 4 levels. So I hope they do something very special for Virgil. They're probably going to add him in Bloody Palace mode in Devil May Cry 4 as well. I would see why not. So, and this actually comes out in the summer, or not coming out. I guess more information will be available in the summer according to this trailer. So, I don't know. This could be some good things coming for Devil May Cry. I know that Devil May Cry 5 is supposed to be in the works, so maybe this is what they're hyping up all the Devil May Cry stuff right now for. I don't know, but going back to Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, this summer I guess we're going to have more information, or the game's going to come out. I don't know, but that should be interesting. So that's going to do it for my, I guess, breakdown video. This is the first one I've ever done. It's actually pretty fun. I might do more of other games, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you was either fans of the original reboot of Devil May Cry 4, or if you wasn't like me, what do you think of the trailer? I'll leave an uncut version of the trailer in the link in the description down below, so you can check it out without me talking over it. So yeah, I will catch you guys later. Peace.